It's another session and another episode from Design School, Chitkara Design School, and we have a great leader, a designer, an innovator with us to share thoughts and ideas to all of you, young minds who are going to be tomorrow's designers. So let me quickly introduce Piyush. Piyush is a designer and an innovator loader. Hello. Yeah. Piyush is a designer and an innovation leader with over 21 years of experience in product and service company. He has actively led designs to deliver useful, inviting and engagement product and services. He has built and scaled up the design teams from ground up, collectively solving complex problems, designing innovation solutions, and delivering delightful product experiences. As a leader, he built practices that help transform cross-team collaboration and includes design thinking mindsets, design-led product strategies, and design development, and scale the design talent across the organization. In addition to Piyush's corporate responsibility, Piyush also provides design mentorship and conduct design thinking workshops with students. And at current, he is also a visiting faculty at ST and NIMS. He provides design mentorship to 100 young designers in India and abroad. Currently, Piyush is a design director of Walmart International. Before joining Walmart, he was working with IBM, HFI, Indigo Consultancy, and many more students. Welcome, Piyush. It is such a pleasure to have you, and we're looking forward to a very engagement-driven, session. So over to you, Piyush.
Thank you so much, sir, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for extending the time to the afternoon part because I actually had a college in the morning, so I couldn't accommodate in the morning slot. Thank you so much. What I normally do is today's topic is going to be about cognitive loads in design. So what we feel is that anything that we work with or do with has some or the other issue which we normally don't understand or choose not to see it and we ignore it. This course will technically help you to understand how to evaluate problems. What we believe in is customer and there is a staff. Business works with both these entities. Customers give me money, staff efficiency saves my money. Okay, so now when you look at this, because of a small feedback window that didn't appear, I have to now call a bank, take their time, ask him to solve it, and he will say, ma'am, you know what, there is a delay of 35 minutes to 45 minutes and it will come. Okay, now that's a system issue, but ultimately what is impacted, it is the user experience. Now let's assume that you know this pattern, this is going to happen again and again. Will you bank with that bank or you will change the customer, change the bank?
Change the bank.
Will change the bank. Very simple logic. So that is where the confusion is that, oh, where is that confirmation that I got? The feedback is a part of cognitive load that will add to tension, stress, frustration, anger, and you will leave that client or that business. Okay, how about this guy who are into 4 equal parts? Okay, there is one visual. So what you see, okay, whatever comes in front of you is visual. Intellectual is once you have seen how you understand it or whether you can understand it. Memory is helping you remember or retain that, how easy was it to remember. And motor load is actually the action part. So it is motor is your muscle movement, be it reading, be it typing, be it moving your arms for scrolling, whatever, or doing an activity. So it is all connected with your muscles. So these are the 4 loads, and we will see examples of web solutions and understand that from our end. All right. Question for you guys. What happens if your computer slows down? What do you do?
Restart.
Okay. It still is not speeding up. What do you do?
Format. Clear the cache file.
Okay. Didn't work after that also. What do you do?
Service center.
Okay. He tried his best. It is still not benefiting you. What do you do?
We'll go for another option.
Brilliant. That is what I wanted to hear. Okay. So in a computer, you can have Pentium 1 to 8 core, 20 core, 50 core processor. You can have a supercomputer. Human brain is single channel processor. We cannot multitask. We cannot take load. Okay. So our job as designers is to simplify the loads and make a customer's life as simple as it can be. Sounds cool? Okay. All right. So let's see some example. Any business, okay, has to survive. You are going to be a part of that business. You are going to be a user experience designer in that company. You're going to help the company grow. How do you help them grow? With customers. Now, remember, they will talk about, I want to improve efficiency. I want to improve customer conversion rate. I want to decrease drop-offs. I want to reduce errors. They all are terms used by business. But if you go down to the tip of the iceberg, you will only realize there are two things. There is earn money, there is save money. All right. So remember these two parts. Okay. It simplifies all concepts in life. Business works for only these two things. Earn money is getting in new customers and making them help me grow. And save money is improving efficiency of my staff. It could be a store, it could be a call center, it could be my branch, it could be my sales guy, whatever. The faster they do the work or more efficiently that they do the work is better for the company's growth because they are saving a lot of money. For example, if a person who is a salesman fills in 10 forms in one day, that means he is going to fill in 1000 forms in 10 days or 100 forms in 10 days. Sorry. Now, can I look at improving his efficiency that if he can do 12 forms in one day? So what you do is you look at the design that he uses, see what is repetitive, what is not required, what can be discarded, what can be optimized, and there is where you will look at different types of parameters for improving the design. And with that, you shorten the form or make it more faster, efficient, and thereby now instead of 10, you can do 12. So they will say, I want to improve my efficiency by 20%. That is what they say, right? That is what one part. Then learning. So these are other things and everything that is a part of your overall picture of how you see the problems. So ask for you is, before I go to the next slide, is think from a customer perspective, but explain it to a business how that problem will be. Okay, that's the part that we will learn now. Actually is not. Okay, so it's like आपने कभी देखा रहेगा ना, you actually have a door where you actually have to push and there is a handle, but you end up pulling it because of the natural movement, and then you realize, oh, push करना है, pull नहीं करना है. Have you seen that kind of doors? That's again a wrong thing. You should have a plate that gives you a cue that you have to push it. Correct? All right. So let's go further. Okay, this is funny. This is interesting.
Excuse me. So then more is not clickable?
No, the more is clickable, but it looks like a button inside a button.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Okay. Now this is interesting. You don't need to talk. Just listen. Just see. I'm going to show you something funny and interesting. I'm going to ask you to focus on this red dot. Okay, this is a learning from one of my psychology courses that I was doing in Coursera. Just focus on this red dot. Think of it as an apple. Okay, I'm going to count backwards from 10. All right, keep gazing it, and then let's discuss what you saw. Okay, start gazing. 10. What did you see?
Colors.
Grass was green.
Down parts changed into green.
How did you? And it is fading out now probably.
Yes,
it is going
yes.
up and down and fading.
yeah.
Right? Okay. What happened?
So वही नहीं समझ में आया.
Gray image green कैसे हो गया?
So green is the complementary.
It's color to red.
It is a opposite color of magenta, because right now you just saw magenta as a color. But
Yes.
what happened was, I don't know whether you've experienced this ever or not. When you are seeing a negative at a very fast pace, okay, or gazing it and suddenly changing it, you see the actual colors. It is opposite colors of that. Similarly, magenta ka opposite color is green. So because you were gazing at that red color for a long time, actually the magenta was taking in the filler. It is called visual fatigue, जिसकी वजह से आपको जैसे वो गायब हो गया, you suddenly saw the green color for a momentary time, and that is what happened. Again, a problem in visual this thing, but okay, fonts with light color. So there are footers that are good looking, but उसमें उन्होंने grey color use किया, light grey, which is like difficult to read, which merges with the black, and that is a problem. Contrast example we just saw, haphazard page layout. So there are people who have used circular designs, fine, but randomly जो भी मन में आया डाल दिया है, that is a problem that we've seen. So we would prefer not to use a haphazard layout. Use a grid format so that you can comfortably move your eyes in and around the area. Column grid structure follow karo, and go for a orientation where people are comfortably used to reading. Not everybody would love a haphazard layout. Improper vertical alignment. We read in a very, very systematic fashion. Okay, either vertical, horizontal, Z format में देखते हैं हम लोग, right? F or Z format, but Z is the major one. So we are used to that. So alignment means actually I can show you. So just stretch out your C only. तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं? When we read, no, you don't read the whole word. Your brain will connect that, and sometimes you can make a mistake, so you go back and recorrect and reread. But 90% of the time you are right. The brain stitches it for you. So we call that part fixation and saccades, where I am seeing the part of one word where my eye stops, consumes information, then jumps ahead, and then starts consuming information again. So जहाँ मैंने stop किया, that is called fixation, and the line between the area where your brain does the reading for you is called a saccade. Okay, so vertical alignment mein you will have a lot of jumps, you will move here and there, and you will get tired your eyes. So we don't want to do that also. Too many calls to action, which you just saw an example. Busy backgrounds that serve no purpose is a problem. Okay, so all of these are mattering to us. Stark colors. Okay, don't use too stark colors. Saturated colors बहुत use नहीं करने का. It will hit you bad. You just saw an example in that magenta example. So recommendations: use a grid layout. Okay. Content should be optimized. Don't write too much. People don't try to read on net. They prefer to read on a book. But if it is net, small is beautiful. Okay? Right content. Agni, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It is 3 colors with grey and white as complementary or neutral colors. You can use them. But 3 colors is more than enough for you to use. Less is better. But the more you go, it's not a wrong thing. You can use as many colors in design. But the reading of that will take time. You will consume information slower than normal testing. So 3 mein you can actually read a page in 2 seconds. But if it is more colors, you will take more seconds. It's not that there is a rule that you should not use colors. There is, but this is the fundamental behind it. All right. And we also use white space along with it so that you can actually manage that balance of look and feel. There is always a breather, so you don't feel too claustrophobic or cluttered about that layout. Cool. All right.
You just wanted to add in a little more there and load. It also depends on the industry also. Like if you're going to be using it for the fashion industry, then definitely you can use a lot of colors, right? But if you're using it for a banking industry, you'd probably want to use minimum colors. So adding the industry layer is also very, very important. But I would say this is a thumb rule, what Piyush sir is talking about, and that would absolutely work everywhere. It's like a global thumb rule which will work everywhere. But then at a creative person, you want to take liberties of using more colors or using more visuals. That depends on industry, that depends on the subject, on what layout you're putting and whom are you catering to. Also the audience, it depends. You know, if you're going to be using something for a generic purpose, then the thumb rule works brilliant. But if you're really looking for like say a young crowd or a teenage crowd, that's why Instagram or all those places, like where you really want to cater to the live audience, then you can take and break those rules, you know. So you have to be very wise to when to break the rules and when not to break the rules. Yeah, but generic, it's absolutely the thumb rule what you should follow.
Right? That's going to be a problem. They don't understand, neither do we understand. We cannot gauge something that is technology. So Gmail has been using this very frequently, okay, trying to cut down your look and feel to help you with a lighter version, but they don't ask you to log in light. They show you an experience saying that looks like you have an internet connection issue and do that. And that is what has been used by Facebook and a lot of apps that they use, right? Sounds cool? So there's a confusion here. Now I don't know kya karu. That confusion in your mind is intellectual load. Okay? Second, okay, tell me, what do you understand from this? This is a plan which is rupees 999, rupees 699 or rupees 1699. क्या है?
It seems like a different plan or like अलग-अलग कुछ बताया होगा.
Exactly, कुछ समझ नहीं रहा है क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे. So again, a sign of confusion. So remember, these are takeaways for you to figure out problems. Okay, tell me what is wrong here.
So there is no लिखा नहीं कितने का है plan.
Brilliant,
Cost.
very good. Okay, the problem is, how do I pay for something or take something when I don't know the price for it? How do I decide? So remember, intellectual load is more stronger. Visual load is still acceptable, but intellectual load is more stronger because you can't act on it. So देख तो लिया, लेकिन करूँगा क्या? So that's the problem. So here you have to understand that it is impairing you from taking a decision. So remember, that is more important. So intellectual load you will come across a lot. Okay. Then black coloring. What is what? Tell me. कौन सा पैरामीटर 1 है, कौन सा पैरामीटर 2 है, कौन सा पैरामीटर 3 है? यहाँ पे कलर है ना? You put that. But यहाँ तो नहीं दिख रहा है. How do you show this?
Maybe we could vary the width of the lines.
Okay, that is one way of doing it. Fine.
Different type of lines like dotted or something.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lines.
So that is something that you might want to do. Correct? That simplifies my problem of not even worrying about whether it is black and white or not. Now, guys, this brings out a very important point for you to understand. Accessibility. Any idea क्या है वो? Okay, let me explain. It's okay, no problem. Accessibility is a point where there is a person who cannot see. There is a person who cannot see some colors. There is a person who has a low vision. There is a person who cannot use his hands. There is a person who cannot comprehend. There is a person who cannot speak. Okay, and is also sometimes deaf. All right. So ये सारे also are our users. When we say universal design, we don't mean people like us. We mean people like all of us. Yeah. So this problem will be faced by a normal user. But अगर ये बनाते, तो at least us will understand. But any other person who has an issue will be able to distinguish this really well and understand what it is all about, and he can read. There is no dependency. Okay, imagine they need to be as independent as we are. We don't have to make them dependent on something. So that's a very good takeaway for you guys to understand. All right, I'll be relevant for the relevant customer. For example, चलो एक project करते हैं. We are doing insurance products for truck drivers. Okay, who are based out of 2 tier 3 tier city. Okay, English कैसे use करोगे? कि English use करोगे? What language
options देंगे?
You will use a local language, right?
Yes, sir.
What kind of images will you use?
Relatable to them.
Correct. So it could be in South, I'll use probably South side of pictures or images and communication. In North, I'll use North side. They will associate that, right? तुम लोग वहाँ पे लिखोगे terms and conditions, legal, ये is he going to even read it? वैसे भी हम लोग भी नहीं पढ़ते, वो तो छोड़ दो, वो भी पढ़ेगा नहीं. Right? So the problem here is that jargons and languages are meant for a specific part of the picture. I understand that it is legal. We need to put that. But customer को जो दिखाते हो उसमें simplicity follow करो. Don't make their life complicated by putting in jargons. All right. So with that, there is an interesting summary of intellectual load. Now बहुत examples है इसके. I'll just summarize it in a very nice way. Okay, navigation जब आप there are problems plus where am I cues? Where am I in the website so that I can orient and go back and forth? Should I decide to go to this section or that section? Is something that is very important in a intellectual load. I would say cutting it off completely. It should not be. If you put in, it will not be a problem. All right. Then we talked about affordance, that is false affordance. But there is something called as visual affordance. ये button है या tab है, okay? Or have you seen pages opening on a click of a radio button? Have you seen that? Okay. Yeah. Then there is a text box. मैंने text box type करने के लिए cursor डाला, and suddenly a new page opened up, and there I have to fill in my query. What have you seen pages like that? Yeah. Don't do that. That's a wrong practice. That's intellectual load because it's confusing my customer. Radio button is meant for showing and hiding something, not opening a page. These are UI controls that have a special function. We should not abuse them. Okay, so text box is for an input. It should not behave like a button. So आपने उसका characteristic की change कर दिया, आपने उसका ahref लगा दिया. Now it is functioning like a button rather than a text box. So we preferably don't do that. All right. Now, information out of context, poor instructions due to bad language, simplify kar lo. Don't use complicated language. So guys, the beauty of this is simplicity. Okay, jitna simple English likhoge na, okay, it is awesome. Everybody will understand. Right from a child to a grandfather, they'll all understand that. Okay, we don't want to use PhD language. Okay, then the function of the controls that you use, please don't change their inherent nature. Let that be clear. Okay, now clear and good feedback, we just spoke about that. Let's say you paid money to college but they never received it and you never got a feedback. That feedback was a problem. So you learn that, oh, this is something that I need to have. So anything that you do needs to have a good feedback, whether it is error page, whether it is activity done, or you are about to start something. Please give them good feedback on any and every activity. Yeah, and there are a lot more kind of things. Okay.
Just one example, Piyush, I wanted to give about intellectual and universal load. Very simple. बहुत जगह पे हमने we've seen the toilet sign, right? Man and women, right? Man and women, sometimes if you've seen, the man's hands are kept, if not kept straight, and if they're kept at an angle, it looks like a woman. Okay, so what happens is a complete view changes and the entire dynamic changes. So again, all types of icons, whenever you're making icons, you have to be very, very clear in any of your designs that what are they depicting. Don't try and create something which is hatke. You have to make it something which is universal. Design आपका हटके हो सकता है. It can be completely different and unique, but your icons, your buttons, your text have to be universal, because a new person will not know what you're trying to mean by that.
To a concept of memory. Memory is 3 types: short term, long term, and iconic. Okay, उसमें और भी है सारे, लेकिन I'll just go on a higher level. So iconic is flashes that you remember. Short term is where you are trying right now. You're trying to translate that to a long term memory. But इसमें memory में भी एक, it's very funny situation. Memorize or repeat things to actually remember. So psychologically there are interesting things where you will need to understand. But फिलहाल मैं high level बताता हूँ. There are neurons, 2 stars in the brain. Okay, small stars. Okay, the more you do design, they connect each other and they become stronger. Okay, but there is something that will go weaker, probably would be numbers. Okay, you might not be as fast as a CA, but the CA will never think design because you are good at it. That's the part of the ecosystem that gets built. And if you do both, you'll have both the neurons stronger. So when I say stronger means that part of your brain is very active to these things. So if I say 1000 का 10% कितना, तो you will say 100. Okay, right away. You'll not need to tell me, or maybe I'm wrong right now, but it's okay. All right. So that's the fun part. So we are going to do this. So how do you remember things? Let's do an example first. Chalo. What do you think this is? कौन सा easy है?
Match the column.
Match.
क्यों? किसने कहा अच्छा है ना?
नहीं, cognitive level में होता है ना match the column. You see the answer probably.
Tax your memory. Correct, Gurleen, you are right. So here, what we do is when we are designing for our users, we give shortcuts, but we also give menu options. Shortcuts are memory, that is recall, and recognition is ये सारे. So ये देखिए, Photoshop shortcuts सारे हैं, but उन्होंने menu भी दिया है. So never assume that a user will remember a task. Please don't tax their brains. Give them the handhold part, step by step लेके जाओ and उसको complete करने को बोलो. Yeah? All right. So here 1, 2, 3. This is motor load. I have to precisely press 1, 4, 5, 7, 3, 2, 9. Other than that, this is easier, no? And it is one line of code. Show numeric keyboard or show alphanumeric keyboard for the developers. Your job to ensure convenience for the customer. Okay? Fair enough. All right. Which is easier to click? Already hai actually. Dal diya maine answer. Sorry. Okay. Is this is okay? So let me just conclude here. This is difficult to click. This is easier to click because it follows Fitts law concept. Fitts law is definitely a concept that you would want to use in your design. It is inversely proportional to the distance of your mouse to the size of your button. अगर button size बड़ी है, आपने आराम से click करना है. अगर छोटी है, तो you will take longer to reach there and click. Similarly, if there is a line that is the link.
In case of banking websites where security is also required, तो उन केसेस में तो हमें बड़ा रखना पड़ता है ना जानबूझ के उसे फॉर्म को.
हाँ, फॉर्म बड़ा रखो, लेकिन स्टेप बाय स्टेप करो. स्टेप 1, स्टेप 2, स्टेप 3 करो, ताकि जब जो बंदा फॉर्म भरे, he will not get overwhelmed with the number of information. So if you make a short sweet form with 5 fields, it will be 15 only, but वो भर देगा. So for example, मैंने आपका अगर, and there is an omnichannel concept we will talk about. Give me 2 minutes. मैं आता हूँ आपके क्वेश्चन को आंसर करने के लिए. ये खत्म कर देता हूँ ताकि सबको मिल जाए benefit, and then we'll answer your question. All right. So here, जैसे आप you type in a lot, that's a problem. You jump between devices is a problem. So for example, there is a research that says that अगर आपने एक फॉर्म बनाया है जिसमें I have to use a combination of keyboard and mouse, my efficiency is dropped by 3 to 8 keystrokes per field. Okay, so the idea is to make it device dominant. That means अगर कीबोर्ड यूज कर रहे हो तो कीबोर्ड के सारे फंक्शंस रेडी रखो. So टैब पे मैं जंप कर सकता हूँ. I will not need to touch a mouse also. Try designing like that. It is not 100% achievable, but अगर 90 भी हुआ तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? अच्छा ही है ना? So that is what we do. All right. Now excessive scrolling, horizontal. You realize that my movement is like this. It is a lot of muscles moving together versus a thumb where vertical scroll is very easy, or a mouse scroll where I just move my finger comfortably. So that is less of a trouble than moving horizontal. Okay. Then presenting small, hard to hit targets. अच्छा, आपने मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन में देखे होंगे, there are these 3 dots on the right side top menu. Sometimes you struggle to click them, right? They're not clickable so easily. That's because the hit area is not up to mark. So you have to increase the hit area and वो ढंग से हो जाएगा. All right. Large distance between targets. एक बटन यहाँ पे, दूसरा बटन वहाँ पे, पेज के कोने में. It is troublesome for users to move. Club them together, it works fine. All right. Then menu पे काम किया कभी? Menu, drop down menu. देखिए. Yes. Level 1, level 2. By the time you reach level 3, it is closing, and you have to go back simple again. Simplicity is the word for you for the entire cognitive mode. Okay, that's going to be the case. Then use Fitts law. Make the buttons clickable, big, large size, good size. Okay. Optimize for the right input device. Okay. कीबोर्ड शॉर्टकट्स दे दो ताकि बंदे को बहुत टाइप ना करना पड़े, बट ही शुड बी एन एक्सपर्ट यूजर. ऑलराइट. एंड देन डेफिनेटली प्रोवाइड डिफॉल्ट्स. All right. So that is the part that is something that I end my session. But before that thing angle, so हम लोग क्या करते हैं, when we are looking at a form, we normally take their details first, because I'm sure that not everybody fills in the form. So let's say the worst case form लेते हैं loan application, ठीक है, जिसमें बहुत कुछ लगता है. So what I'll do is, if I am an existing customer, I will log in and I will know who you are, so I don't have to worry about it. But let's say I'm a new customer and I want to apply for a loan. So I'll take his name, email ID, okay, or mobile number. I could take any one of them, okay, or I can take both depending upon what it is. That's my first form. Utna hi bharna hai. Fill this small form and you are done. Okay. Now you can say that would you want to continue? You can continue, or I'm done. Whatever it is. Now there are two benefits here. या वो बंदा मोटिवेशन अगर होगा तो पूरा फॉर्म भरेगा and he'll go next. या अगर उसको कुछ और काम आ गया, he just wanted to just check क्या है interest rate, but फॉर्म के बाद में कुछ मिल नहीं रहा, he'll drop off. This information, because it is omni, can go to a branch, can go to a call center, and then they can actually take it as a lead. और वो फोन करेंगे आपको कि सर आपने अप्लाई किया था लोन के लिए, कुछ जरूरत है, can I help you? And that is a seamless connectivity between different systems. So tension नहीं है, अगर छोटा फॉर्म दिया और उसने भरा तो you are sorted. If it does not fill that form, then either it is just a visit on the page, or he did not want to, just trying to understand like a designer कि क्या होता है journey. That could be a case. So we can look at that. But the moment he fills in that form, you have two options, either a lead or a closure, and you can close the lead through call center or branch. ठीक है? So step by step is easy, always good for hand holding. And to think of, there are two learnings that you want to take. Don't get confused by step for a staff. You should not give step by step journey to a staff. Don't take me wrong on that line. Staff को आप screen भर के दे सकते हो, because they are going to fill that form 20 times, 30 times a day. So they don't need next. Every next will cost time costs money. It is impacting your saving model. So have a single form, let them fill it fully, and they are good. अगर customer है तो उसको hand holding लगती है. So you have to give him step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and thereby you close his journey, and he will not feel overwhelmed. He'll say चलो ठीक है, अच्छा लगा, कर दिया मैंने. Yeah, all right. I am open to questions.
नेक्स्ट बहुत कंफर्टेबल लगता है. अब यही अगर मैं कोई वेबसाइट खोल के बैठी हूँ ना, तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मुझे क्लिक नहीं करना है, मैं फटाफट से स्क्रीन के ऊपर सब फिल कर दूंगी, एंड देन मुझे सिर्फ खत्म चाहिए यहाँ पे काम. मतलब डिवाइस टू डिवाइस भी ये चीज डिपेंड करेगी ना.
डिवाइस टू डिवाइस डिपेंड करता है बच्चा, बिकॉज द फैक्ट ऑफ द मैटर इज मोबाइल में एक्सपीरियंस बहुत अलग होती है एंड डेस्कटॉप पे बहुत अलग होती है. देयर आर यूजर्स हु आर एक्चुअली यूजिंग अ डोमिनेंट डेस्कटॉप, and there are users who use mobile. Yes. But form एक बहुत tedious चीज है मोबाइल पे भरना. Okay. Yes. So, जितना छोटा रखोगे उतना अच्छा रहेगा. Okay. जितना बड़ा करोगे उतना you will see potential drop off, they will not come. तो guaranteed है.
वो जूम भी करना रहता है बहुत ज्यादा अगर फोन पे अगर इतना ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन एक साथ होगा तो.
Include more clicks and make the process easy. अगर ज्यादा क्लिक भी कर दोगे, there's no issue. People are happy clicking more rather than having a confusing thing. But then you said more the clicks, more the time, more the money.
Brilliant question.
Here it's the like.
No, brilliant question. I'll explain you what it is. Efficiency is for staff, not for a customer. So आपको कितनी घाई है फॉर्म भरने की? आपको कहीं जाना है? नहीं ना. आराम से भरोगे फॉर्म, रात को भरोगे, दिन में भरोगे, कभी भी भरोगे. बिकॉज यू आर डूइंग इट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम. आई वॉन्ट टू हैंड होल्ड यू. ओके, स्टाफ के लिए रेलेवेंट नहीं है, तो लेट्स सेपरेट दैट पार्ट. नाउ कमिंग टू मोर क्लिक्स, दे आर फॉर स्टाफ. मोर क्लिक्स कस्टमर के लिए अगर आप सेंट दे दोगे जर्नी की कि 4 क्लिक के बाद में काम होगा या 6 के बाद में काम होगा, वो कर लेगा. मेरे को बताओ, how many of you have gone to a website and said, oh this is a beautiful website, I love it, कि काम करने गए थे. Amazon पे कितने क्लिक करते हो बोलो?
वो तो इंटरेस्ट रेट पे डिपेंड करता है. मैं इंटरेस्टेड इन समथिंग, आई कीप ऑन क्लिकिंग, ढूंढो ये ढूंढो वो.
नहीं वैसे नहीं करते. Let's look at it from a perspective that आपने टीवी लेना है, okay, आप टीवी सर्च करोगे and then you will just click next and go ahead because it is giving you the journey sent completely easily. Okay, जा सकते हो. I can tell you we've done websites where we've said we've reduced 8 clicks to 3 clicks. Okay, वो marketing gimmick है. डिजाइन अच्छी थी तो बन गई, गलती से बन गई 3 क्लिक में, बट एक्चुअली वो 8 क्लिक की हो या 10 क्लिक की हो, कस्टमर अगर काम कर पा रहा है शांति से, उसको कोई तकलीफ नहीं हो रही है डिजाइन में, he will never have a problem. Okay, he is not here to praise your design, definitely not. Okay, अगर आपके डिजाइन के कन्वर्जन अच्छे हो रहे हैं, you have to be proud about the fact that you did own everything. You just don't own मेरा डिजाइन बन गया, मेरा काम हो गया, ऐसा नहीं होता है. You have to ensure that सब कुछ ढंग का हो.
Also, you want to understand like when your audience and how much your audience is going to come to that interface, which is very, very important. Like muscle memory, and there is something called normal thing. Like what Piyush said, like when an employer, like a staff is filling up a form, it will become muscle memory for them. Because it's an everyday task. So it will become a muscle memory. They will not feel the cognitive load because it's going to happen every day, right? But a customer is not going to come every day. So for that, you have to design it in a different way. Similarly, Instagram, Facebook, people are going to visit every day. So you have to make it very, very easy. A housing loan, it can get a little complicated because रोज नहीं आएगा बंदा फॉर्म भरने के लिए हाउसिंग लोन के लिए. So you can have the liberties of having and asking more questions or making it a little more complicated. So there are two things when you have to also understand how much the audience is going to come and visit the place also, right? How much is it going to be using it? Yeah, if you want to make it very sticky, then you have to keep it very few steps. If you want to not make it sticky, you want to keep less of steps. Yeah?
Combinations बहुत है बच्चा. As you start designing, speak to your user, take his feedback. That will bring out a lot of confidence in yourself that, oh, I did a good job, I'm doing right. Oh, here is where I need to improve. Let me change this. That would get you so much of confidence. I think nobody in the world can challenge you if a user is saying that this is right. For example, मेरा एक interview था where HFI में, where my boss asked me that I had made a 30-page assignment. Okay, एक 4 घंटे बैठ के sketch बना के सब देके गया मैं, and I showed him my designs, and he asked me, okay, looks like fine, but let's do a role play. I'll behave like a stakeholder and you behave like a designer, and let's hear what happens. So he says, use this yellow color button. No, I don't like it. मतलब yellow नहीं है, grey है वो. This is a wireframe. No, assume that it is yellow. Okay, I said okay. Then I understood what he was trying to say. So I have to imagine that this is a visual design screen, and this yellow color is not good for him. So, well, classic mistake that every designer makes. Okay, trying to make the stakeholder happy. No, assume an interview. No, so you try to speak to him. You said, okay, sir, are you trying to understand why you are not liking the color? So his smile went off. Now I'm very fast at observing things. So maybe I'll think about it and I'll come back to you with an answer. I didn't know. It's still the wrong answer. Okay. So he was like, Piyush, I like what you're trying to do, but that is not the way we have to look at. You have to look at, it is not you who are the user. It is the user who is the user. So let's show them the design. Whether it is yellow or green or pink will be decided by him, not you. Okay, you can look at it from a brand perspective, no problem. But who is stakeholder to put his head into a color scheme? You don't worry about it. तेरा conversion होएगा, tension नहीं है. So that's the plan that we have to look at. So he said that we have a user. Remember the user. Don't forget the user. बहुत बार what happens is in the heat of the moment we forget who the user is. When we start a project, we start off with design and then we think of the user. Okay, start asking who is the user that I'm designing for, and then validate with them. That is the way we normally go ahead, and I think I'm good with that. That is the way we should plan out. Yeah?
Correct. And it was very difficult to even, remember the names of the items in French when they used to say format or something else, So what we used to do, the recipe, which used to be the half a page in French, we used to take the first word of the sentence and club it together to a word.
Nice.
So, remember those words and we say, okay, if something comes around, I need to look into this word and break it down.
Correct.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
Smart. No, that's smart way of thinking and remembering.
That's again, you're doing chunking, right? You're chunking and you're breaking it.
Associating with something. Yeah, definitely.
So before we end this session, a pro tip from you, like before we end, any pro tip?
Pro tip? No, there is no pro tip, Pacha. The mantra is keep learning, keep trying. There is always a better day. Okay, you will keep learning every day new things. That is the rule that you should have. कुछ ना कुछ नया सीखना है every day. That is the rule. Even I keep learning every day. There are days where I have learned from my juniors, and it is awesome to learn from them also. It's not that कि मैं भगवान है मेरे को सब आता नहीं. I am still growing. I'm still learning every day. Okay, it's a because I'm an instructor and I teach. I know that whatever I teach is not enough. I have to keep growing.
Like Amazon वगैरह वो अपना brick and mortar वाला खोल रहे, तो ऐसा process क्यों हो रहा है?
So,
lovely question.
Recording stop कर दूँगी. Moving where physical
big brick and mortar goes to the digital. It's very simple. Market comes as a pyramid. Okay, so every company decides whether I want to hit the top pyramid or I want to hit the bottom pyramid. Okay, so if I want to go digital, I have gone digital first. But now I've saturated that market and I want to grow my reach, and hence I'm going brick and mortar. But the brick and mortar guy feels, okay, I have saturated my market. Now I want to go up and I want to become digital. So everybody wants the larger share of the pie. Okay. So in a nutshell, it is like to grab the larger share of the pie, grab more and more users, and keep making that user experience better and better. Right? So today the Kirana guy wants to basically, भैया आप online क्यों नहीं देते हो? Like big basket. तो भैया अच्छा ठीक है मैं digital transformation करता हूँ. Right? Big basket को कहते हैं आप किराना वाले के जैसे 30 मिनट में क्यों नहीं दे रहे हो? तो चलो मैं 30 मिनट में दे रहा हूँ. So it's all about the experience economy, and it is a dance of the experience economy. Right now, everybody is just dancing on the customer's tunes. Yeah.
Looking into the future, do you think design process needs to be completely relooked, because we always work with convergent, divergent, convergent, and we end up giving a solution to it? Yeah, we always start with the user and end with a solution. So where is, what aspect we need to look into?
I'll still stick to the fundamentals. I'll not kill them. The reason is, sir, there are two things that I have seen in where I've worked and I've seen. It's the mindset of the person that wants to innovate. And it's the mindset that I want to do what I've been given. That's a task versus going beyond the task activity types. So where I have seen is IBM probably is trying to go to the next level by pushing their people to think. Design process is a method for me, but how you use that method is up to that person. So what I do is I kind of tell my team to that anytime you do a project, the next project should be 10% better. See if you can put a flavor of innovation in it, and you can do that. So converging, diverging has helped come up with awesome solutions because I get in multiple teams together and they all contribute, where designer cannot do. It is the limitation of a designer to think technology guy says something and you think that ये हम लोग नया कर सकते हैं. The only thing is they should not be like ये possible ही नहीं है. If that is the case, then nothing will change. But if they have the drive, I think if the combination is an awesome one that works. And that's where they talk about the desirability, viability and feasibility kind of a thing where everything works in. So that's my answer. But yes, I still feel that it still works. It's still a robust framework that we can use for our work.
I would say that from the converge and diverge, it started with the infinite loop and then it went into converge and diverge. But I would say the next one is more about responsible design. And I would say I'd always tell all young designers to be the responsible designers, because we have created monsters for ourselves. The Facebook like button, nobody knew would be creating a monster, right? So same thing I would say, so these are things where you really, really want to now be a responsible designer out there, because you need to take that oath, okay, I'm going to be creating responsible work, and not just for revenue purpose or growing the business or just growing the clickbaits, all of that. So that is something where, and I would say that IBM has come up with a new design thinking framework on AI, which is called the Responsible AI Design Framework. Okay, so that is something which you would want to understand, where you want to understand the intent of the user now. First, it was the pain point of the user, but now it is the intent of the user, which is very, very important. So now things you want to judge on a persona, like earlier I was a persona के goals क्या होते थे, pain points क्या होते थे, right? But अब persona का intent क्या है? You know, that is very, very important, because today we've seen bad data and good data, and the amount of what good data can do and what bad data can do. So that is something which I think, you know, all designers should now become more and more conscious. It's not about कि और clicks लाने हैं और sale करना है. It's not about that. But कितना अच्छा sale करना है और हम कितना help कर रहे हैं और कितना facilitate कर रहे हैं. Right? So that is the balance where I would say the diverge and converge and everything should come in together.
Any other questions, students? Shivani,
I think we will wrap. I think he's been Piyush. We've really gone far, and I think it was very the way the whole conversation and the presentation and the way you had showed different kind of loads. I think with examples, it was very relatable. The students really understood very well. I think. For me, the major takeaways was the universal design concept that you said so beautifully, and you actually showed them that you and I are not just the users. There's so many different kind of users, so we have to really broaden our horizons and think very holistically about who all are users. And often we see that when you are putting in a content, you try to use the best of the English language and best of the synonyms and quickly look out for different kind of words that it should sound different. But I think you actually nailed it. Keep it very simple so that even a youngster, a teenage or an elderly person can just easily understand, comprehend and do it. So, and I think chunking is very interesting because I had been doing that all my life. Thanks to my father, he used to teach me and make me help remember things like that. So I hope the students will also be able to learn that, and that's a beautiful way. So thank you so much for taking out time, and this is just one of the sessions. I'm sure they're all coming back to me and telling me that we want drill and set again, isn't it? So yes. So on that note, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, students, for being such a wonderful audience you've always been, and giving us such amazing questions and being very responsive. So thank you. Enjoy your day ahead and the Sunday. And thank you, Piyush. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm honored that you gave me this opportunity, and thanks to all of you.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.